When I came across this story right here, it stuck out like a sore thumb, mainly because this type of story has been echoed so many times before in the media when it comes to black people defending their property or defending themselves. And it always goes the opposite way, especially when it comes to so-called stand your ground. And this one right here will be no different. So this man's name is LaRue Bratcher, and he's from Oklahoma, or he lives out in Oklahoma, and he's a family man. He's married, and he has I think I'm trying to count the kids. I think he has 5 children. Yeah, he has 5 children, and he's married, and he has a marijuana. He's a marijuana grower. Like, he grows marijuana legally, part of his business. Well, one day someone got the nerve to intrude in on his business and tried to, steal from him. And as a owner of a legal firearm, he ended up killing the person that was intruding. So you would think that everything would go right for him. Absolutely not. It went the complete opposite. Do you know that this man has been charged with first-degree murder? That's what his charges have been upgraded to. Like, there was another charge and they got upgraded to first-degree murder for defending his property. And mind you, the person who tried to rob him was a PC man. This is what we're talking about here. People, let me tell y'all something. This is what we talk about when we say systematic racism. And that's why it makes me so mad when you had Tim Scott and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden saying that America is not a racist nation. How can it not be when you have a black man defending his business from this PC intruder, and he's the one that gets the charge? And a heavy charge at that. Just like I did the video the other day about the man at the Dunkin' Donuts who was defending himself because that white man called him an N-word, and he pushed him, and his charges get upgraded to manslaughter. He didn't know he was going to kill that man. But that man also should not have gotten out of his car and came into this man's face and said what he said, and was very rude to the people working in the store, but particularly to him. It goes back to the whole thing that black people, especially black men, are not allowed to defend themselves, their property, or their families in this nation without repercussions falling upon them. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the story, because I didn't even know this story even existed, because I don't think it just happened. Family members and community advocates held a cruise for LaRue Bratcher in Oklahoma City on Saturday as the United States Army veteran remains in jail on murder charges for using lethal force to defend his cannabis cultivation company from an attempted burglar. When you're in, and look at that, they said he is a United States Army veteran. Where are all the so-called fake patriots of the nation that's going to come and rally behind this man? When you're in trouble, somebody has to fight for you, Derek Neighbors, LaRue Bratcher's uncle, said, according to News 9. This is my family and we're going to fight for him. Relatives and supporters at Saturday's rally called on all Oklahomans to support a family that has given back to the country and community. A caravan of supporters started at the ICE event, making their way through downtown Oklahoma City before stopping at the county jail. For nearly 2 hours, they chanted justice for LaRue Bratcher and free LaRue Bratcher in order to raise awareness for his case, according to the OKC-based news outlet The Black Times. LaRue Bratcher called the police in the early morning hours of May 26, 2020, shortly after he shot and killed an alleged burglar attempting to break into his cannabis cultivation company for the second time. So this wasn't the first time this person tried to break into his business, but it will be the last. According to the family, Bratcher meant to fire warning shots, though one ended up striking and killing the man, later identified as 42-year-old Daniel Hardwick. Because Bratcher's cannabis business license was expired at the time police arrested him. Oklahoma County District Attorney David Prater, who previously placed terrorism charges on unarmed black and brown activists during George Floyd protests in 2020, decided to place second-degree murder charges on the veteran. Now look at that. They said that this David Prater placed terrorism charges on unarmed black and brown activists during George Floyd and placed second-degree murder charges on him. So we already know what type of guy this person is. Bratcher's wife, children, and 6-month-old baby were escorted out of their home at gunpoint. Weeks later, the charges were upgraded to first-degree murder. So you're meaning to tell me that this guy had the intent to kill? Is that what you're trying to say? Is he intended to kill this man? Is what they're trying to say. With Bratcher being held at the Oklahoma County Jail, officials denied his bond, and relatives and friends wonder why, considering he's a business owner in a community who expressed remorse for using lethal force to defend himself in a state that prides itself on standing one's ground. I keep telling y'all, that stand your ground shit does not work for black people at all. I can't even remember the last time I actually heard a story where a black person actually was able to successfully overcome the stand your ground law. It's always worked against black people. I swear that law was made for white people. I swear it is. And George Killerman. It's just me with the kids, and to know that you go from one charge to the next charge and not knowing what's going to happen. It's like our life is at a suspense right now. LaRue's wife, Vicky Bratcher, previously told local media, Oklahoma's stand your ground law reads in part, a person who is not engaged in an unlawful activity and who is attacked in any other place where he or she has a right to be or has no duty to retreat and has the right to stand his or her ground and meet force with force, including deadly force, if he or she reasonably believes it is necessary to do so to prevent death or great bodily harm to himself or herself or another, or to prevent the commission of a forcible felony. Which is what this guy was doing. This guy was breaking into his business, trying to steal. And this wasn't his first ride at the rodeo. This was the first occasion in which he did that. Because Bratcher's cannabis license had expired at the time he stood his ground, prosecutors view his actions as unlawful, felonious activity. That is some... I swear they will find a loophole anywhere when it comes to us. Anywhere. No matter how big or small the loophole is. Yet the Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authority, which oversees all aspects of the medical cannabis industry, including license renewals, has previously claimed it takes days or even weeks to process a new application, which means this guy probably most likely was filing to get a new license, and at the time of this happening, it's just that he hadn't received his license back in the mail yet. This year, the OMMA updated its policy to allow car holders to apply for a new license while still using their expired one until the new one comes out in the mail. It's unclear whether charges would have been brought against Bratcher had this policy been in place last year. It makes you wonder, did they know about this case last year and decided to implement it after the fact? At which point it would have already been too late, so it would have been pointless anyway. I'm telling you, they're mad because this guy's a family man. He's an Army veteran and he's making money in the marijuana industry, and they didn't like it. So they use this as a way for him to get caught up. Instead, Vicky Bratcher had been forced to take over the family business, raise their kids, and advocate for her husband's release. Saturday's rally proved that she has supporters in the community willing to have her back. I just wanted to thank everyone for supporting my dad, and I just really miss him, Bratcher's daughter, LaRue Bratcher, said at the rally, according to the Black Times. I want him home because he's my protector and supporter. Every day when I wake up, I just want him to be home. A petition calling for justice for LaRue Bratcher has received more than 1,600 signatures. I take that back, I have. But this is messed up in more ways than one. I mean, let's really run this down. This man is an Army veteran. He's married. He has 5 children. He's a family man. He has a business. He had his home, his business. The first time this person came, I'm guessing maybe they were successful the first time. And the second time they weren't, and he fired his weapon at him. He didn't know that the shot was going to kill this person. Just like with the Dunkin' Donuts story, he didn't know that push was going to end up killing that punch, and that fall was going to kill that man. It was no intent. But they upgraded the charges so fast, like in the Dunkin' Donuts story, to felony charges. This one upgraded to first degree. Like, the scary part about this is what if they actually find him guilty of that? What they're sending out is a message that, and we're going to use it in this case, that PC can break into your shit. And as you as a black person, if you don't let them get away with it, then we're going to hold you accountable for you defending yourself, your business, and your family. That's what I'm gathering from this. So a lot of people always say that black people, we need to arm ourselves, we need to protect ourselves and everything like that. That's good and all, and I'm glad that, a lot of black people are doing it. However, when you don't have protection, by law to protect you. In situations such as this is what happens. They twist everything up to work in their favor, and now you have stripped this man of his family has been stripped of this man. Thankfully, not in the physical sense, and he's still here, but still in the sense that he's not around. Like, this is messed up. And like I said, I'm just now hearing about this story. This story happened almost a year ago. It happened at the end. It happened May 26th. It is now May 13th, 2021, and we're just now hearing about it. And what's crazy is a lot more stories out there that echo this sentiment that do not get airtime. And to be honest, this would not have gotten this story didn't get any airtime, and I didn't even know it had existed until I was scrolling through on Instagram. You'll be amazed at the type of stories I find on Instagram. And shout out to the Savoy Show, because that's actually where I found it. But this is retarded. This man defends himself, his business, and he faces consequences because of what somebody else did on more than one occasion. And he even said he meant to fire his warning shots. But then they tried to come back. Well, his license was expired. So, that's why we're charging him with this. And they quickly went from second-degree murder to first-degree. So that means they have to prove that he intended to kill this man. And I hope that they don't prove it. Hopefully he's found not guilty. And I want him and his attorneys to countersue everybody who did that to him. And that so-called whoever that was that I was reading about who slapped them charges on him, fuck that bitch. I don't care if it's a man or a woman. He's a bitch. Fuck him. That sounds like an axe to grind if you ask me. They said he locked up black activists after what happened with George Floyd, who were unarmed, and he was the one that slapped these charges on him. So that, like I told you when I read that part earlier, that lets you know what type of person he is or who he is. But yeah, this is like all around messed up. This is why some black people be like, why bother defending myself? I'm either going to die not defending myself, or I'm going to lose my life defending myself. It's a double-edged sword. What do I really do? And like I said, this guy had a cannabis business. He has a cannabis business that's raking in, I'm sure, millions of dollars. At the least six figures, but it's probably millions. Let's be real here. They couldn't wait to get him and separate him from his business. Thank God he's married. Because who knows, if he was running this by himself, the state would have got a hold of it and they would have got all of his funds. And that's probably what they want. It's crazy how black men are in jail right now for marijuana usage or the distribution of marijuana. But here comes Palm Color. They can distribute all they want because their name is on the front of the goddamn pharma company or wherever it is that they're, or whatever dispensary. And they can make all the money, but the black man is still locked up. And now you lock this black man up because he was defending his business. So he can't, man, listen. I tell you, it's like one big maze that we can't get out of. It's like once we find a way to secure ourselves and do whatever we need to do to take care of ourselves and take care of our family and take care of future generations and generational wealth, here comes PC with all their bullshit in tow, fucking it up. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.